How you guys doing?
Hello, everybody.
You guys are tuned in to yet another Stay Fishy Friday, and we have a returning guest tonight because
that's me. I'm back.
we felt that we didn't get enough story time with Mr. Chris Biggs.
Let's
right
tell
up here.
the truth. Rich was a hog. Took all the time. Poor Chris didn't get a word in edgewise. This time, I'm going to be quiet and let Mr. Biggs tell his stories. You guys can ask all the questions you want. You're doing great. Mr. Biggs is here with us. Thank you for returning, sir. It's not cut off.
Alrighty, so to start things off, it's not a big update, but go ahead and give them the mom update.
Okay. Now, as you guys know, she's back home. She had to go to the hospital to get her PEG tube replaced. It actually leaked stomach acids out of her. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I switched her position, took care of her, and then at 7 o'clock, we were back up, and I didn't know what the mess was beside her. It had leaked stomach acids out and actually burned a layer or two of skin on her side, right by her butt cheek. So I was mortified. I thought I left this open. I was like, I can't believe it. You take better care of me than I'm doing of you. I just felt horrible. And then it happened again later that day. It was the PEG tube leaking. It was faulty. So we had to go and get it replaced. They couldn't do it here at the house. They had to take her into the hospital. So I had 4 or 5 days on my birthday weekend that I didn't have to take care of Tracy, and it was like a break. And yeah, I took it a little too far last. We had to make the show private because I was slurring my words and cussing, and it was all bad. So please don't mess with that.
I'm trying to fix the audio.
There was nothing wrong with the audio.
Nobody can hear Biggs. So you keep talking.
Hey, he's fine.
Nope. Can you guys hear Biggs talking?
All right, let me... video on. There you go. Now you're back on. Okay, he should be good. You guys should be able to hear him now. I don't know. You should be good. Okay, I hear Biggs. Okay, so let me finish. He just wasn't talking. Let me finish this here. So now, she got the thing replaced. I had my birthday fun. I'm not drinking no more because I got to take care of Tracy. And, everything's back to normal. Look at you laughing. Calm down, son. Okay. So now, while she was in the hospital, they went ahead and assessed her again. Now, there's something called the Glasgow Coma Scale. She was a 5 at first. She went up to a 7 after a few months. Now she went to an 8 after a few months more. Now she just got home from the hospital, and in her release papers, she is now rated a number 9, which is a huge step for me because now she can do this, this, and this, according to the Glasgow Coma Scale. So, it's great for me. I love it. She's moving around a whole lot more. She's frowning. She's smiling. She's crying. She's moving. I can't position her a little bit on her left or right. She will turn all the way over into the fetal position on her own. And now, yesterday, for the first time, when I have her on her back, she moved from that position. Now my job is just harder. I'm like chasing a little 2-year-old trying to, sit still, and, I'm loving it, but, I can't, I have to keep repositioning her every 2 hours. So she's not staying in the position I give her. So she's staying in the position she likes way too much. is the problem. But she is now a number 9 on the Glasgow Coma scale, which makes me so happy. We're still waiting for her to squeeze my hand on command. She does squeeze hand. Joshy's got a video of it. That I don't know.
There's 15.
15 numbers?
There's 15.
Okay. All I know is she's at the top of being in a vegetative state and at the very bottom of being in a minimal conscious state. And the minimal conscious state isn't very thick with stages until you get to the next step. So she's right there ready to go. We're just waiting for her to squeeze a hand on command coherently. Like, she'll squeeze her hand. Oh, you look much better like that with that light on. So now she's at the top of that scan, and she squeezes her hand, but not on a coherent command type thing, you know? So we can't trust that and say you've reached that step. So that's what we're waiting on now. I talk to her every day. I talk to her all the time. I tell her everything I'm doing as we're going, you know? So I just wanted you guys to know how happy I am to have her at this level, and she is progressing. So, you know, I'm taking care of her now. I'm sleeping every half hour I can, day and night, all the time. And I'm using the Wi-Fi camera. I always hold it to my ear when I'm outside helping Josh, because I got to run inside if the alarms go off. So we're learning to deal with all this. Go ahead, Josh. You want to?
Still can't hear Biggs. Nothing's coming through.
Okay, I turned down the desktop audio. How about that, guys? Can you hear Chris now? Talk, Chris.
How about now? You guys hear it? We're just doing the test to make sure you guys can hear me. My smooth, melodic voice.
I should be able to hear him now. So, tonight we're going to talk about all kinds of different things. I'm going to be quiet. Chris is going to talk. You can look at you laughing like I can't do it.
You and me are the same, though. You know that.
Okay,
All
everyone
right, we're
says he's
almost
back.
up to the point. If I can hear Chris on the stream, then we'll get started.
Everyone says yes, they can hear him.
Okay, cool.
Good to go.
We're good, Chris, and we got your picture bigger. I was trying to do that before and couldn't do it, so your picture is now bigger.
All right, so first off, first things first, you guys may or may not know, if you guys seen on the last video, the end credit, post-credit scene, we have a machine here starting to dig the pond. That is the koi pond in the backyard.
And that machine is a
That is
Kubota
a tractor, and it has a
front end
backhoe
loader
attachment
and a backhoe.
and the front end loader. Aren't you supposed to shut up tonight?
It came from Brian Herron. He donated it and drove it 2 hours to get to us. I just can't get over the generosity. And we got it for 2 weeks. That is just amazing. Thank you, Brian Herron. You are the man. Go ahead, Josh.
Sir. So we've been digging with that. Well, I've been digging with it all day. We got the wetland style filtration dug, but it is going super slow. So what we did to get this sped up, because Ed Bailu might be coming out at the end of next week, so we have to.
Well, you said next week up to a month from now. It was
if he comes next week, we got to be prepared for him.
If you want to speed it up, why don't you just hire somebody that knows how to use the tractor?
We don't
use
hire
just
nobody,
fine.
and we can use it.
It is a tiny one, so we went ahead and rented an excavator with a 24-inch bucket. It'll be here on Monday. Then I'll be able to dig much faster. And the problem with the tractor...
I kind of picture Josh looking like the little kid in the sandbox with that little mechanical thing that digs a little bit.
That's what it looks like.
So it was just a smaller machine for the job, so we went ahead and got a bigger digging machine, but it can be used as the front end loader to move the dirt back and forth. So we should have all the river stone, the pea gravel, the 57 limestone for the wetland style filtration, and a few other courses of aggregate for the wetland filter. Those should all be delivered here by, say, Monday.
Yes.
Possibly this weekend, but that is a lot of rocks coming, and we are...
and that's without the 25-ton of...
I was getting there.
Okay, good.
We are on the phone. He's got someone. I've got someone. There's 25 ton of holy limestone coming, and that's going to be a pricey rock in itself. So you guys got to stay tuned for that project. And now
Wait, one thing I got to interject. The
What?
drinking word. We're not going to have a drinking word tonight. What we're going to do is, whether I drink my tea Josh drinks his drink or Chris drinks his drink, you guys got to drink. Hey,
I think that's fair.
Now,
That's fair.
one thing they need to know about this, Rich, is I can't see you guys. All I've got is a black screen in front of me and a little tiny thumbnail. So, like, I have no idea what you guys are doing on the live stream other than I can hear you.
You don't have to drink when we drink. They have to drink
Well,
when
that's
you
what
drink.
I mean. That's what makes it more organic and better. I have no idea what you guys are doing.
You drink whenever you feel like it, brother, and then they will have to drink with you.
You might not be wearing pants. I don't know.
You might not be wearing pants. Or I might not be wearing pants. What do you say?
Does Josh have sleeves today? I don't know.
Josh does not have sleeves. I am wearing pants. Everything is copacetic, and this is a family-friendly show.
All right, so I'm gonna get caught up with some super chats that happened before the show. We had Jim Sheasley for $5. He said, "Hey guys, how do I set up for a tour?" Well, that is very simple. I know Adele already told you you can message the Facebook page, but a quicker way to do it is if you message myself or my dad personally on Facebook. We will set up a tour for you.
Yes, please don't use the Facebook page message. I can't stand that messages. I have at least 2,000 waiting on me, and it takes me 3 weeks or so to get caught up. And you know, one day I'll work 4 hours on it, and I'll get caught up, and then they just explode. I cannot stand the Facebook page messenger. Get a hold of me through Messenger or Facebook on the group, the Ohio Fish Rescue 501c3, or call me directly. My number's posted. It's 216-773-0407, and it will ring my personal cell phone. People are always amazed when they call and they're like, "Is this really Big Rich?"
You just post your public phone number on a big public forum?
Yes, I do, sir. It's on the page. It's on the forum. It's everywhere.
Hey,
I answer my
I'm
phone.
okay if he posts his number, but there was one video out there that my number got posted.
Oh, he
and
got so
holy
ragged on.
crap! I ignored my phone the whole entire day. I was just bombarded with people who thought I was Shaq. People thought I was Greg, and
People called here really thought he was Shaq because it was on the Greg Woodstock thing about going to Shaq. And then we called Josh and the number was on the video and I didn't catch that. And people are like, "Is this Shaq? Hello?" Josh was like,
Just
"No."
say yes.
No,
Just
he
tell
started.
people
he
yes.
started-
oh, I started messing with him bad.
He was like, "No, this is Shaq's representative. How can I help you?"
So that,
No matter what number you get, the OFR
Someone
should just
is
get its
actually
own
calling my phone
1-900
right now.
number.
all right.
Stephen Conroe, what's up, brother? You're live on the
Not on
channel.
the stream. Go out of the room if you want to take a call.
This
You're
is really
interrupting
Big Rich.
my show. All right, so we have another super chat from Jim Sheasley for $275.
Oh, okay, buddy. I'll call me
I
back after
think
the show.
that might be the biggest super chat to date. That is just insane. He
Thank
said,
you.
"Hope this helps. Prayers for Tracy."
Aw, thank you for that. That's awesome. And yes, it
And now,
will help. We've got
45
so many
minutes
rocks.
before the show started.
Yeah, this was an hour
This is an
before the
hour
show.
before the show started. We've got so many rocks and gravel and stuff that, you know, I wasn't going to build it the way Greg Woodstock builds his ponds. I didn't have the money. But, you know, we were just going to dig a hole in the ground, put a liner in it, and just have it for size for the goldfish, the koi. But, you know, we've gotten some donations lately, and, you know, the Greg Woodstock, that Dwight Howard tank, he donated all the money from that. That was $3,400. So thank you, Greg Woodstock. That is all going towards rocks. Now we're building it the way Greg Woodstock would build it. Waterfall and all, wetlands filter, gravel, rocks, beautiful, natural looking, you know, like our front yard pond. We're trying to do what he does and with very minimal money. So thank you for that donation. That will definitely help. I had to put a rental of a mini excavator today on my thing. That's $1,100 for the week
Yep. So
on
Now-
my credit card.
Let's be like, we were talking about this kind of candidly off camera long before, about an hour ago. Like, people really have no concept. Like, we see the super chats, be it a $5 one or this insanely generous one that you guys just come through. Anybody here that's in this chat right now that's attending this live feed that has one tank at home or 2 tanks or 5 tanks, go look at your electrical bill and tell me exactly how much to run your hobby costs you. And then try and just even fathom, just try and even imagine a number that would come up that would be even relative to what the Ohio Fish Rescue costs to run on a monthly or annual basis. It's insane. So every single dollar that you guys are sending in, you know damn well every single penny of it is going directly to take care of those fish. And each one of those fish was rescued somewhere. So they're saving lives, and you guys are helping.
Bless you guys.
That sounded just like, an ASPCA commercial. Chris.
We need Chris to
Well, I
do
feel
us
like
a commercial.
I'm on a telethon right now. Is this what it is? Is the telethon? The OFR telethon?
Yes, sir.
Bring those phones.
So we got Jeff.
There we go.
He just signed up to be a Tiger Shovel Nose. Thanks, Jeff. If you guys remember, he is the one who donated that generous amount for Matt's Monster Fish.
No, that was $1,000 to help Matt out with that fish loss that he had.
We got to do an awesome video, and Jeff is an awesome guy. And I know Matt has called me and can't stop talking about everything that was done for him. He's so happy to have his fish back. I don't know if he, he hasn't released the video, so you guys don't really know what he took, but I mentioned it in one of my later videos. So we sent him home with catfish that replaced all the catfish that had passed away on him because his son likes catfish.
28-inch
Did
Niger
you him home with some fish that were equally ugly as him?
A 25-inch Tiger Shovel Nose, a really beautiful flower horn. It was like white and pink.
Yeah.
He had
little
a
red tail and 2 stingrays.
Little red tail.
And
now the stingrays. Now we gave Matt his option. He had been trying to buy this stingray off us that we bought. Now we originally bought it for $600 for our breeding stock, and it was a big, beautiful. Was it male or female? Male P14 Galaxy Ray. Beautiful. We bought it for our breeding stock because our idea is we can breed the baby stingrays and help make money to support the rescue. There really isn't that many rays out there that we need to rescue them. So our idea was to make money with them. Well, Matt wanted it, and he actually offered us $1,000 one time for this ray, and we had to turn him down. But now in this situation, we offered Matt, Jeff Beatty gave you $1,000. We can give you the money, or what we can do is, now I put this on the video, but some people one person got really mad. We could give you that ray that we bought that you wanted for $1,000. I'll give it to you at the price we paid for it, the $600. And then the other Motoro ray, and then a little baby ray. We gave it all to him, and he chose the rays instead of the $1,000. Now he got all of his rays, and we gave him a bunch of fish, extra beautiful fish, and
all kinds of stuff.
Now to clear that up though, Rich, basically what you're saying though is, you got a donation of $1,000, but what you gave out of that $1,000 is you literally gave away $1,000. The rescue did not earn a penny out of that whole transaction.
No.
But you helped out another fellow fish keeper.
Yes.
Made him happy and stuff. So
he got way more than he could buy for $1,000.
It's not like there's an extra $1,000 that went in a bank account somewhere.
Right.
So since we said Dad wasn't going to talk tonight, so I got a little proposition. I was going to go and get duct tape, but I see this delicious savory Vegemite sitting in front of me. Just gonna
Vegemite.
Peel it open.
The package from down under that everyone seems to love, except me. I can't even smell it. I'm sorry, Adele. I love you, and I don't mean to put down your country and its thing, but I can't even smell this stuff. It's horrid to me.
Every time I want him to shut up, I'm gonna just shove this in his face.
The Vegemite is basically, I think
it's
she said it's made from a product of the residual from yeast and stuff, but I think it's actually just a waste product from the oil industry. It's just something they give the prisoners down under.
It's something. But Jeff Beatty, thank you so much. You were such an amazing person for doing that for Matt, and Matt is so happy now. He got so much more than $1,000. He said if he'd have taken the money, he'd have paid some bills and bought a fish or two. Now he's back in the hobby, and he's got breeding stingrays at his place. And we also gave him 4 more of our Bosmani pregnant ray, or 8 or whatever she has. We're giving him half of her pups. So that's coming in the future too. So
and
Jeff, thank you. You were awesome.
He's not spending his evenings in the shower laying down in the fetal position crying anymore. So
anymore.
Fellow man.
Anymore.
That's solid.
Chris, you're amazing.
All right, so we have ANG for $5. She said, hashtag Team Tracy. Cheers to all of you. OFR rocks.
Cheers to you, Ange. Thank you, Rick. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So we are just catching up on super chats here.
And now it's your. There's more.
Yeah, this chat sucks sometimes. It jumps around. So
Just stop asking stupid questions, people. Josh,
no, it's every time it refreshes, it goes back down. So you got to scroll back up to find your spot. But we got Rob's Ray TV for $2. He says, "Love to see you up and healthy, Biggs, my boy."
Hi, Robs. It's Big Rich here.
All right.
How many people in the chat can say last week they got tested for Ebola?
So we got Ottawa Aquatics for $7. It said, "Love the stream, huge fan, love you guys."
Aw, we love you too. Thank you, Auto Aquatics. Appreciate that.
All right, so we are now caught up, and we are now on to story time with Mr. Biggs here. So I am going to start us off with a question for Biggs. So if you guys know Biggs or know anything about him, he travels the world. He goes to all these different,
Biggs
fish
goes
shows.
nowhere. Biggs hasn't gone anywhere since March. Biggs is dying here.
Well, you've got stories, and I was going to ask you, out of all the different fish meets, the swaps, anywhere that you've spoken in the fish trade, what was one of your favorite shows and why?
Honestly, I don't want to pigeonhole one club against another.
Yeah, please don't do that.
I could definitely tell you which was my least favorite.
Well, I don't know if we want to say that either.
Horrible, but you live and learn. But no, the best experience, honestly, and this is not a shot at anybody else. I've been treated like an absolute king when I've traveled. The hospitality that's been extended to me has been over the top. Like I go to Florida and I stay with Dan Sharifi at Cichlids the Americas. I stay with the queen herself, the lovely Sandy Moore from Segrist. And these people have taken the entire weeks out of their schedules to tote me around. But honestly, if I were to say that the place that really holds my heart would be Ohio, and it's basically going to the OCA extravaganza, which comes up in 2 months, and they're going to be doing for the first time ever done. They're going to be doing the Ohio Cichlid Association is doing a live show virtually. I don't know how you're going to show a fish virtually, but they're going to be trying to do something that's never been done before. But the experiences, the people, the casualness and the relaxed atmosphere, getting to see you guys, I've been now you guys and I've stayed with you guys 2 or 3 times now, I come from Canada. I know Canada has its stereotypes that we're a type of people that we are, but I see that exact same type of personality in people when I travel, and I see it with you guys too. And Ohio really holds my heart because, I just love going there. There's so many people that I call friends and family.
Right. Yeah. Well, your family, bro. You come spend the night with us anytime.
Oh, you wait. I have 2 unique ideas to do next time that I'm there. That you thought the feeding the predator tank with mesh shorts was a stupid idea. You just wait. I think I can top that.
He says I can come up with stupider.
I've got my camera ready.
I could definitely stop stupider. All right, no problem.
All right, so we got Justin Richards for $5. He said, "Join us on Facebook for more info on our mission," and he linked our OFR group.
Thanks, you, Justin. He's one of our star moderators, and thank you,
How
Justin.
many people do you guys have following you from Australia? Because half your chat now is people talking about Vegemite. I know, I love Vegemite on toast. I love Vegemite on muffins. And Vegemite is god-awful garbage mud paste. Stop eating it.
Mud paste. We're sorry, Adele. We love you. Don't mean to put down your country.
Sure we do. We're just bashing everybody. That's what we do.
So
Craig is eating it. He's in Melbourne. He's eating it now for breakfast. Well, I'm very sorry, Craig, but we have Cheerios here. Even oatmeal would be better.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
We have Metalhead Prime for $5. He said, "Don't mind me, just helping with the light bill."
Aw, thanks, Metalhead. He came and spent the night. Him and his wife were awesome people. Great time we had. They're coming back soon, they said.
All right, we got Rob's Ray TV for another $2. He said, "Hi, Josh. Where's Rich? All I see is Vegemite."
Didgeridoo.
All right, then we got Miss Metalhead Prime for $10. Said, "Just want to say I love OFR. Big hugs to Tracy, Rich, and Josh. Also need some hashtag Team Tracy gear.
Doesn't
Cheers to
everybody?
all."
Thank you. Miss Metalhead Prime is like such a sweetheart. And we had such a good time when we were here. She was here for the weekend, or her and her husband were here for the weekend. It was such a great time. I mean, I needed that. I needed that break. I hadn't drank for a while. I was just working and taking care of Tracy and working around here and trying to help Josh get things done. And it was just so hectic. They came and I got a break, and it was just awesome. Thank you guys.
All right, so last time we were on the stream, we heard about BIGGS' collection of isopods.
So I got some new ones. I got a new one just this week. It was like one of the most like the most coveted ones ever, and I finally got it. And that's what's sitting in that tub, literally right there. They haven't even got it put away yet. And this one's such a coveted one. Like, I even showed this to like people in the States that are big isopod people. When I showed them that one, they're like, "Ooh, that's on the top of my list."
So
it's just a bug. It's not a
what
bug.
do
It's a
you
crust.
do with them? Do you feed them?
If you keep shrimp, these are basically land shrimp, but they're every color of the rainbow and everything like that. They're cool. There's just something different.
Okay, I can get that. Just like
you talk about trying to set up somebody with a 10-gallon tank, and they go to Walmart and they buy a 10-gallon aquarium and all the accoutrements that come with a 10-gallon kit at a pet store or like at a Walmart. And you know damn well that customer is set up for failure already, because the filter is only going to have one insert. It's going to be problematic. But I can sell you an isopod culture. You literally need a Rubbermaid tub. You can cut holes in it. You can drill holes in it, melt holes in it, whatever. And it needs basically whatever you'd find on the forest floor of leaf litter. That's it. And to feed it, I can give it a slice of carrot. I can give it a dried minnow. I can give it fish flakes. Like, they're the easiest possible things to care for. But the real thing that endears them to me is the fact that my youngest daughter, Paisley, has gotten involved with them. And every single Saturday morning, we come downstairs so Mom can have a cup of coffee. We come down to the fish room, and we pour out all the containers, and we do them one at a time, and we feed them, we mist them, we take care of them. And she has her own cultures, and to me, that is worth more than gold, the time alone.
Awesome. So you just raise bugs?
They're not bugs, they're crustaceans.
Oh, okay.
They have,
I did not know that.
Do you know what an isopod is? Do you know what an isopod is actually yourself?
It's a potato bug.
Potato bug, pill bug, roly-polies, those
Yep.
sort of things. That is one group of isopods. There are some that can roll up like that. There are some that cannot. And they come from they come from every area of the world except for the Arctic and subarctic. But they're easy to care for. And some of them are outstanding. Like the colors on them and like the way they replicate, it's outstandanding.
Wow, okay. Did not know that. Well, I'll check out and
But all of them are in tubs that size. Every single one of them. I have a rack. I'm almost up to like 25, 30 species of them. Not that I want more and more, but like that's all they're in is these little tiny 14-liter Sterilite tubs from the home hardware store. Easy. Yeah, there's the giant one that lives, Adele's mentioning here in the chat. There's the giant one that lives in the ocean, and you do see it, and it gets to be like 2 feet.
Really?
And they're detrivores. They live on the ground, and they're the same thing as a lot of your different types of weird catfish in the Amazon, and they break down all the stuff that died. There are composters.
Okay, so they have a good use, and that's all good, but I think if I seen a 2-foot potato bug, I'd run.
It's just, to me, it's an extension. I came about it organically. It wasn't like, hey, Biggs, you should look at isopods. I never even considered it. But how it came about is I wanted to expand. You guys can see in the background there, the big beast of a vivarium that's back there. I've been wanting, that took about 2 years worth of planning to be able to get it to that point. And when I wanted to do that, I wanted to make sure that thing was a full living entity into itself, not just live plants with misting and lighting, but I wanted the whole environment to be alive. So if I put a gecko or a lizard or snake or something in there, their waste products could organically be broken down and turned over to be able to be food for the animals. And these things, isopods are one of the factors of things that you can add in to create a fully bioactive environment.
Nice.
Nothing to do with fish, but it's a natural additive to our thing. They're essential. There's no native isopods in North America. They've all been introduced from Europe and stuff through soils and stuff like that. But these things are like I can collect isopods in your backyard, and I'll be able to collect probably the exact same species in my backyard as north as I am from you guys, because there's only about 3 or 4 species that are varied in our area, and they live the same life. They're basically a decomposer, a detrivore. They break down all the waste product. They're great. They're very essential to an environment.
Very nice. Did not know that. Learn something new every day. Well, I learn something every time I talk to Chris Biggs.
It's not. I don't think we want to talk an hour on isopods on your channel, though.
So my people are interested in anything you have to say.
Yeah, you went from 336 watching down to 220.
Because you started talking? Come on.
What's this loser talking about weird bugs?
So we have Mark Hinshaw. He just joined the Arapaima class. So
oh my goodness. Thank you very much. Very nice.
And welcome. Here we go. Next up we have Caroline Shee for $10. She said, I hope this isn't offensive, but I was wondering if
Definitely
you
not.
eat fish like the grocery store. If so, what's your favorite? # Team Tracy. The only fish I'll eat is tuna. He might eat some other stuff, but I normally don't eat it.
I do like the McDonald's filet of fish sandwich. That is something that I've loved since a kid, and
Let's
I'm
pretend
sorry.
that's fish. We'll just call that fish.
Okay, but it's whiting. It's supposed to be whiting at least. But other than that, we really don't eat fish here. Definitely don't eat, lobster and crab. That, to me, that's the cockroaches of the sea.
Do you know what we could definitely do, though, is we could help you out now. We could get you some good recipes for tompaki directly from Brazil. We can do a nice roast out one day, and we could have some tompaki one day when I'm down there. I'm not a fish
Chris?
eater myself, but I'd eat some tompaki.
No, you're not touching my fish. Fish are friends, not food. He's talking about the black pacu, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I pronounce it differently. I thought it was the timberki.
Yeah, tompaki is what if you're in Brazil and you ask I'm looking for tompaki, they know exactly what they're looking for, and that is like one of the most cherished food fishes in the region.
I heard that, and it's really good. I actually had some little, I forget what he was made.
Vietnamese.
The Vietnamese guy showed up here, and he wanted me to give him a pacu for his tank. And then I showed him the pacu, and I had like 12, and he's like, I can take 6 or 8. And I'm like, no, you can't. Your tank's, 1,000 gallons. Come on now.
I want the big one.
Yeah, I started talking to him. I always feel out people. Started talking to him, found out later that back where he's from, this is what they ate, and it was a delicacy, and it was really good. And I'm like, so you're wanting to take these fish to eat them? And he finally admitted to me that that's what he wanted to do.
Well,
I did not give that man no pacu.
This year on the farm, I'm doing tons and tons of work on the farm, as you guys know, and we actually got rid of all our goats this year. And my wife would put an ad up on like your kind of version of Craigslist up here of getting rid of these goats, and 9.9 out of 10 calls would be about them wanting to eat it. And we actually even had people not only wanting to eat it, they would give us extra for the goat if they could butch it on our yard.
Oh.
I'm like, what?
Oh my goodness.
I'm horrified.
Oh my god, yeah, that would be horrifying for your children, huh?
These are pet goats that have been raised. They're wearing collars with their name on it. Like, how much if I butch in your yard? And
They
like,
have
what?
names, right?
Get out of here.
So we have Colin Doyle for $100. He said,
Oh, my
put towards
goodness.
the Rock Boys. This starts our night off. Love hanging out with everyone on here.
Oh, that's
Very
awesome.
cool.
Thank you, Colin. I appreciate that, brother. And
You guys
I
got,
know
it needs to be said to every one of these people. It doesn't matter if the donation's $1 or if the donation is $500. It needs to be said that every single penny that you guys have given to this organization goes directly to taking care of the animals that are
goes
in this.
right back to it. Yeah, you don't see us taking vacations or buying new cars. My Camaro, yes, it's a luxury, but I've had it for over 30 years. Me and my boys built it to what it is. You know, it's we don't spend money on anything. Even fish tank backgrounds. We spend money on food, electric, gas, water, sewer. You know.
The very first time I met you was long before you'd even started YouTube, and you guys, you didn't have the swimming pool set up as anything like that. Your house is a little bit different than most houses. You had this big swimming pool, but it was an older, dated kind of house. But like, we met each other, we clicked, we had a lot of similar interests and stuff like that. We hung out, we chatted and stuff. Like, it was very, very obvious, very, very quickly where your love was. Your love was to your family and the fish. And you poured everything into that with absolutely zero income coming in from anything else. Your livelihood has been from you owning properties that you've built your life to build and buy and stuff and maintain, which is if anybody in our chat is a landlord of any capacity whatsoever, knows full well how much a pain in the butt that's got to be. But you do that, and that's what you've done for years, and that's what supplemented. And then you started YouTube, and everything else has grown. And you guys have got to this point where it's just this big entity, but you can just keep putting everything back into it. And I'm going to bring it up because we talked about it earlier, and most of it isn't any of my business, but like, and me sharing numbers is irrelevant because it doesn't matter. I just want the audience to kind of expect it or think about it. A lot of you guys have seen the videos in regards to the Bellagio tanks. Those tanks, Rich was very obvious and clear and transparent about how much those tanks physically cost to buy. That was just the dollar transaction to actually buy those tanks. But then those tanks had to be transported. Try and imagine transporting something like that. That's larger scale than trying to move your entire family across country with every possession you own. These things are massive and heavy. So, and if you know anything about cartage or shipping, it's all about dimensional weight and dimension and weight. So those things are very, very, so it costs a fortune to do that. Not only that, now the tanks are delivered to Ohio. But you guys also had to go and buy all this equipment to be able to even handle the tanks at your place to deal with the winter. You know, like you had to buy heaters and all sorts of stuff. You spent hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars to do all this stuff because you didn't have anywhere to put them yet. And then you did this massive addition, and then you move stuff around. And every single time you guys have moved any tank at your place, because your tanks aren't 20 gallons or 75. It's not like, hey, Ray, can you come and help me move my 75-gallon tonight? Yeah, sure, no problem. And we have a couple of beers. You guys, your tanks, you need like 30 people to show up to do absolutely anything. And you got to, and then you end up feeding everybody, and everybody ends up drinking and having a great time. You end up shooting a video, and that's great. But like, people have no concept. Everyone says, oh, those tanks cost 10 grand. No, those tanks cost 25 grand before a single fish or water ever hit them, because of the amount of stuff that's gone in behind the scenes. So every single dollar that comes in here goes directly to the rescue. And there's nobody else in the world that does what you guys do that I know of. I
think we should hire him as our representative.
Your dear friends, and I applaud you. I feel like I'm on a telethon. I don't know. Like, you guys are family to me. Like I will promote you in any way I can because I've stayed at your house. You guys are absolutely transparent. You guys are the real deal. Your dad should cut his hair. You know, that's, let's be truthful here. But
you want me to cut my hair just to make you feel better because you have none, son?
I can grow hair. I can grow as much hair as you. It's just
really. I challenge you.
I'll just grow it right here. How about that?
So we have Kathy Murphy for $14. She said, Friday night is boring without our Price family. Aww. We love you. # Team Tracy.
Thank you, Kathy. We love you guys too. That's awesome of you. Appreciate that. And, here's to you guys. Drink up. I know it's only iced tea, and it's actually unsweetened tea too because of my diet. It's horrible.
All right, so we have Dave Pfeiffer for $15. Said # Team Tracy from Colson Pfeiffer.
Well, thank you, Colson Pfeiffer. I appreciate that. That's going to help out a lot. It's awesome, you guys. You got to read some of these little.
No, wait. There is a comment in here that kind of pulled my attention, and they said, "Here, let me go." Where is
goldfish and the silver dollars?
It said Josh won the scape off. There we go. Yes, that is true.
Listen,
has that been posted? Because I'll be truthful. I saw Josh escape and I was like, yeah, it's not bad. But both of you guys can attest. It's insanely challenging to aquascape a monster tank. because in a monster tank, you'd want to put a rock that's 3 or 4 feet in size, but you can't physically move said rock. So you have to work with smaller stuff in a big tank, and it sometimes looks a little bit silly. But Josh's scape, I saw the way he did it. And honestly, Josh, it was the placing of the one piece of wood on the bottom and that piece of spider wood that hung down to give that kind of riverbank effect. That was the sealing factor. And I was like, your video came out before your dad's. And I was like, oh, man, it's going to be real tough to beat that. And I'm like, I don't know what he's going to do, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And then your dad comes along and basically just builds a little child's Minecraft thing out of rock with a pyramid in the middle. And I was like, I'm watching the video as this is going down, and I'm like, I'm kind of waiting him for him to going, just kidding. And then he's going to rebuild it and make it look more natural. But no, he just kind of left it. I was like, disappointed.
Let me close this window. All right, Chris, let me explain that a little bit.
You remember that? Who ever saw Game of Thrones where that woman had to walk nude in the streets, and then there was a woman in front of her with a cowbell and just told her, go, shame, shame. That's pretty much what I wanted to put on Big Rich's little.
Let me.
What was that, Mario Kart? What were you building there? What was the little pyramid thing there?
All right, so moving on.
No, let me.
Nope, I gotta cut you off there. So we got Jackie Hudson for $5. She said, "Are there any firewood catfish at the OFR now? Was interesting reading about them after seeing Josh's video with one that had passed quite a while ago. We currently do not have one. They are super hard to find. After ours passed away, I've been looking for them, but
Daria was over 4 foot long, and it used to be Jonathan Straczynski's. This was a beautiful firewood catfish. I was so heartbroken when she finally passed. It was an awesome cat. But
they don't appear on the Brazil positive list, so they're not legal for export out of the country normally. So the only way you'll ever see them appearing on list is that they're being smuggled out of the country. It does happen. Like, that's no fault of you. Like, if you ordered it from Colombia and it was on their list, but that's the real reason that fish is not on the Brazil's positive list.
All right, Chris.
So there we
let
go.
me say no,
Moving
Josh.
on.
Let me say one thing, Chris.
on.
I'm going to say this. Now, we were supposed to use up all the supplies sitting around that we didn't want in our way at the rescue. Okay,
I didn't want them rocks in the river.
Okay. Stop it.
That was priceless, going and finding stuff outside on the property.
We were supposed to both use this. We have tubs of decorations. You know, we have tubs of rock. We have all this stuff, and we're supposed to use it up, get it out of the way, and make the escape off. Now, if we were to do a escape off of what I can come up with, what he can come up with, money's no matter. Don't get it from anywhere. We don't care. I'm going to beat him. But I stayed within the rules and used this stuff sitting around and made it as best as I could.
Hey, Josh, what was that thing you did with your hand? What was that? Like this? I can't remember.
So Josh went out to the river, and everyone's like, oh, I love his scape. It's like just like the bottom of a river. That's because he got it out of the river. Okay?
They were sticking out of the water. It's not a river. It's a creek.
We have decided we're going to have a new scape off, but there will be no rules this time. I will build what I want, and he will build what he wants. And this kid does not have it. I played within the rules. I did the right thing. He did not. I will now beat him because
why is
I'll
it
sell
always
my Camaro to win.
Winners are sitting there quiet and silent. Yeah, the people that lost, clearly lost, by not only votes by the public, but just obviously lost. They didn't even stand.
It was pretty close.
And then they're just chippering away, You have to define why they lost. They lost.
You know I can't disconnect you at any time, right, Chris?
So we got K-Stu for $5. He said, "Biggs is a beast. Happy Friday, boys." And I'm a cheers to that one.
Thank you, K-Stu. Biggs is a beast. As much as he rags on me, I love the man.
So we got Red.
I don't maybe not like him right now.
We got Rednecks Aquatics for $5. He said, "Just God bless you all. Love you. Thank God it's Fishy Friday. Thank God it's Fishy Friday."
Thank God it's Fishy Friday. I'm right with you. Wish I could drink with you guys, but I got to take care of Tracy. That new nurse ain't coming for... She put in her 30-day notice, so it's going to be another 3 weeks yet.
Oh,
And
man.
then I'll be able to be back to normal.
Life all of a sudden, just for the first time in a year, life finally got normal for you, and she put in her notice.
Well, no, she works nights all night long.
Did you walk out of the bedroom one night not wearing a shirt or something?
He's not going to stop bragging on me tonight, is he?
It's game on now, man. Game on.
So I'm gonna read a few comments here. We've got Ava Tudino said, "Big Rich, Josh Tracy, your most amazing fish rescue of so much respect and love. I can't get enough."
Aw,
Well,
thank you. Appreciate that.
And then we got Jeff Beatty, and he corrected me when I called him and messaged him. He's like, you've been saying my name all
I knew it was
wrong,
Beatty.
right?
I knew it. You corrected me and said, no, it's Beatty.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Like-
Beatty?
No, it's Beatty, like Warren Beatty. And I had to look up the actor and figure out how they pronounced it on the talk show, because I kept saying it wrong. And then I'm like, all right, I got it. It's Jeff Beatty. And,
Also, you were right. I was wrong.
Yes,
I thought it was Jeff Beatty.
Nope, it's Beatty.
Okay.
So he said, let's all forward this channel to a friend tonight to help OFR reach 100,000 subs.
Aw.
My man.
Jeff Beatty, you the man. You the man. He has done so much for this hobby and helped us out. I mean, he deserves a round of applause. Jeff Beatty, guys. Jeff Beatty.
That went down the wrong pipe. So we got Joe's Tips and Tricks for $5. He said, keep it up.
All right, Joe. Thank you very much, brother.
What are we keeping up? The keeping up on ragging on Big Rich?
No,
Yeah.
OFR and all the help that we give the world. Not ragging on Big Rich.
He did not give us a clear and precise directions as to what we were doing there.
You know you do have to come here again next year and stay here, right? Yeah, I'm just warning you ahead of time.
I don't know what's happening in your country right now. I'm pretty sure our border is going to be closed for a while. You guys
Well,
are
when it does open and you do come here and you wake up in the morning with a bunch of isopods in your bed.
if all you dumb hillbillies had stopped going out everywhere as a community and mouth kissing everybody, this thing would spread and just dissipate
Did he
quickly.
just refer to
You
us
guys
as
all
dumb
want to get
rednecks?
together as groups.
Dumb hillbillies, come on.
So we
Everybody,
got-
hey, let's go to the movies together. Everybody takes our shirt off and rub our chests together and mouth kiss, you weirdos.
What
You
kind
stop-
of visions do you have of America, son?
I'm just seeing Chris up here, and he does kind of look like, Terrence and Phillip from South Park, just sitting
Oh
there
my
talking.
goodness.
Well, hey, I look at the numbers that we have. Like you guys were talking about how I just went this real health scare just before, like the weekend before, and like we look at the numbers, like our numbers compared to North Dakota. Like how many people in this chat room that are from the U.S. have ever said, "Hey, let's go to North Dakota for the weekend," other than Rob's, which is just sad. Nobody ever wants to go to North Dakota ever, right? Nobody wants to ever go to North Dakota. North Dakota has I don't know. Let's say they have 13,000 cases. Manitoba has only had like 1,000. The whole province, and our province is bigger than the state.
The
It's
problem
insane.
is,
You guys are like 100%, 100%,
See,
1,000% higher than we are in cases.
100%?
The problem is, you guys don't barely even have internet up there, so you
And-
guys
and-
can't communicate.
And nobody visits.
Yeah, but we're out there, we're like, hey, everybody, let's go to the movie and rub together and stuff. Let's mouth kiss everybody. Hey, it's a mouth
No.
kiss. I want to rub
You
again.
forget, son. You're forgetting one major thing. This is where Sturgis is held every year.
Oh yeah, and Sturgis was a
South Dakota.
nightmare for you.
South Dakota?
Sturgis has cost your country what, $1 billion now because of the health issues.
Yeah, there was something about there was
had fun.
100,000 spread cases of COVID at Sturgis this year, or
Really?
something like that.
Oh, it was insane.
Yeah.
It was
Wow.
insane.
So moving on, we have Jennifer Doyle for $15. She said, "You guys are awesome. My husband Colin and I love watching y'all and drinking with y'all on Friday nights."
Thank you. You know,
Well,
that
here's
used to
to
be.
you.
Yeah, here's to you. That used to be one of my funnest things. Was can't wait till Friday. I get to drink once a week, and I'm going to drink with my people, my fish family. With this whole Tracy thing, I can't really drink with you guys, but I love that you guys are having fun. That's awesome.
Do you guys actually have any questions about fish?
Yeah. Does anybody have questions for Biggs while I'm not talking?
We
I
can
don't know.
brag and fish all night long. I'm fine with that, but like if anybody, we can talk whatever we want.
So-
I know everything we talk about, all of a sudden it just goes completely off topic, and then the whole chat
It
just
ends
goes.
up being bashed on me.
Yeah, see, we got Douglas Cartledge said, "LOL, poor Rich Escape got destroyed."
But I followed the rules. This kid did not.
Okay, hold on. Like, I want to talk about. Let's go back to the scapes. The reason I want to talk about the scapes, and if you really want it, let's look at it from a judging's perspective. Okay, I've never been a judge of a biotope contest or in a escaping contest, other than when I've been at a generic show at an aquarium event. But Josh's show is. If I look at Josh's tank, Josh had peacock bass like Cicla, and he put some plecos in it. That's fine. Neither fish are really actually big diggers. Now, if Josh's tank, if you could remove all the fish that he put in that tank and sub them out with Central Americans, it'd still be a really cool tank. But the problem being is the Central Americans, even just a simple pair of convicts, would excavate underneath one of those rocks in that stack, and all of a sudden they'd have a tumbling effect that could be really, really devastating. So that's a negative for Josh, even though I'm looking at my feed off to my left, and it's got a little bit of delay, and Josh just had the whole thumbs up thing going there for a bit. Kind of weird that it was simultaneously while I was talking about that. But in Big Rich's case, and this is honestly Big Rich, and I love ribbon and I love joking with you and stuff like that, but really the detrimental thing to me was because I'm very much a naturalist. All my tanks that you guys have ever seen me do have always been fairly naturally based, but also with a very, very strong conscious effort in regards to understanding the natural physiology of how a fish works. And your tank you're dealing with frontoses, and those frontoses will excavate around those rocks, and eventually those rocks will tumble, maybe only a couple, maybe a few.
This is where you're wrong, Chris.
They start tumbling and they start falling.
We didn't
then
put
they
them
could break
onto the
glass.
rocks.
They could do all sorts of things.
Chris, we did not put them on the rocks. Them ledge rocks are strictly on the ground of the tank, and then gravel's put around it. They cannot excavate under the ledge rocks. That will not fall because the bottom ledge rocks are 6 inches out from the wall. And as you go up, it gets closer and closer to where the whole thing is toppled towards the back wall and holding it up. Those fish will not topple those rocks.
Basically, your tank looks like. Wait, give me
that remote. I'm gonna close this window. Give me that remote.
All right. So we have Rednecks Aquatics for $5. And sorry, Big Rich, I got to agree with Biggs. That was disappointing. Josh is the winner, hands down.
But you don't understand. You guys are acting like you're judging this on who can make the better natural escape. Yes, I lose. This was not the parameter set. If Josh would have followed the rules, he would have used another tub of useless garbage that we had here that we can make a tankscape out of. And then you would have been, judging between this. This.
Hold on. You said the rules were the product, whatever we have here, right? That's exactly.
Well, if you knew when I was talking, you would have seen that I was pointing at these 5 tubs full of decorations that are in our way. Josh did not follow them rules.
Hey, but to be fair, I was going to escape the peacock bass a river scene to begin with, and then he had the idea of let's do escape off. So my idea was in my head.
I'm gonna be dad. I'm gonna go to the river. I'm gonna take a picture of something under the water, and I'm gonna recreate it in the house. And I'm gonna take all the rocks and the driftwood from the river.
I took the driftwood from our pond.
Yeah, see, I didn't take from any tanks. I took from these 5 tubs of stuff that's in our way.
Let's be fair now. Someone just came and dropped off driftwood as a donation, and we've been sinking it in the pond.
It wasn't in our way.
It's going to the 3,000.
It was not
it's going
in our
everywhere.
way. Should not have been used. No, because you made it unfair being a natural escape against a fake escape.
Rich, don't be a sore loser.
Not a sore loser, but it should have been a fake escape against a fake escape. That's it. Should have.
All right, so question for Chris. Said, I'm from Quebec. 2 months ago, all pet shops stopped.
It's called Quebec.
It's called Quebec.
Yeah, I saw that the comment from Francois there. Yeah.
Yes, he said all pet shops.
I did do a video. It was called Medication Legislation, and it happened in tune with what was happening in Canada. I don't know if Adele, if she wants to go to my channel and actually get the link to that exact video. It's called Medication Legislation. And basically Canada started to follow, and I know we live in Canada and we don't have the population even of California, but Canada started to follow the European model. And the problem being is the European model is if you were to go to Europe at any pet store and buy a cure for ick, which is a very obvious and simple thing to buy, that medication at the pet store would have every single ingredient listed in order of what is in there. Well, in North America, that won't fly because in the U.S. market, everybody is about suing everybody, copying everybody, stealing from everybody. That's just the way it is. And the problem being is you've got to go and it just doesn't work that way, right? So the problem is Canada followed the European model instead of the North American model, which we've all become accustomed to because realistically, Canada, if you live in Canada and you live in the States, we haven't viewed ourselves different, honestly, in most of our livelihoods. We just haven't. You know, if you go far down south, they may talk a little bit different. And they may bug us because we say A, but other than that, there hasn't really been a difference. Well, what happened in Canada when this legislation passed is we don't have an option now. In Europe, you can go to Europe and take your fish to a vet. You can do whatever you got to do. There's all sorts of options. But in Canada, we don't have any vets that are fish vets except for in the far west coast and the far east coast, and they're based on the fisheries side. In the U.S., there's fish vets in different areas all over the place, but we don't have an option. So really, when you ask a question about ick is easily cured. If it is true ick, it is easily cured because ick, the parasite, is controlled 100% by 86.9 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yep.
And you can control ick 100%. The parasite cannot live above that temperature.
We never buy ick medicine. We just turn
No,
the
that's what I mean.
tanks
I have that stuff available, and I've always had like quick cures and those type of things available, and those general old school methylene blue, malachite greens, and those things that are all horrible cancerous agents. I have those type of things still available because once you buy one bottle, you have it for life. And I don't know if anybody ever knows this, but if you got children and you buy a bottle of malachite green, which is a common ingredient used in most ick medications,
That's
that
the
green
stuff that
dye.
turns your fingers blue and the silicone blue, yeah.
Well, the coolest thing is we're only a month or so away. I don't know what's going to happen, but if you're in a pinch in Halloween and you don't have a costume, just squirt some quick cure on your kid. You got an instant Incredible Hulk costume ready to go. Kid's good to go. Send them out trick or treating. You might not, it might last for a few weeks, but your kid might be day glow green, but it is what it is. But ick should be able to be cured by temperature and using salt. Salt is not the cure. Temperature is the thing that kills the parasite cycle.
Yeah, we don't use salt. We just use the temperature.
Salt is designed in a way that the molecules of salt react with the molecules on the skin, and they basically seal it and cleanse it. And they basically cleanse it to prevent from secondary infections from happening. And that's really all it is to it. It's very, very simple, basic molecular science, and I don't want to make it sound stupid or dumb, but that's really what it is. And I know people talk about these super icks and all these other things, and it doesn't work. It does work. Well, honestly, I can walk into a giant pet store with 600 tanks, and I can walk through a tank, and I can catch ick before it's ever going to appear in a tank because you'll notice it on the fish and the way the fish's behaviors will change long before you'll ever see the parasite being visible. So I don't know if that helps. I don't know.
Nice.
Well, the way the heat works is, there's a 7-day period for the adult life cycle of ick.
Well, depending on temperature, correct.
It connects onto the fish, digs into the slime layer, and then it grabs into the skin, and it produces spores, and then it dies. The millions of spores in the water you cannot see. They're microscopic. They cannot live under that high of heat. So the spores die, ending the cycle.
Yes.
And that's basically how it is. So you turn your temperature up, your ick is cured in a matter of 7 days. And that's all there is to it. It will not get worse. Now, you might think it gets worse because you don't see all the ick that's already on your fish because they're growing to adulthood yet. They're under the protection of the slime layer, so the adults keep growing. So once you turn your temperature up, maybe 3 days later, you see more ick. No, that's ick already been on your fish, haven't grown to full maturity yet.
Yeah.
But they cannot release their spores, and the babies will not grow to maturity, will not latch onto more fish and keep the cycle going. And it also speeds up the life cycle from 7 days to about 5 days at 98 what was that you said?
86.9.
86.9, yeah, 86,
Most
so
tropical
87
fish,
degrees, let's say.
90 degrees, the
Right.
threshold starts to change unless they're very specific high tolerant fish like discus and certain characins and
Right.
stuff. Lower
Maybe need
oxygen
a little
level.
more heat.
Yeah.
So we got Matt F for $5. He said, "Gonna suck when you lose to him a second time, Rich." Hashtag Team Tracy.
I'm not going to fall for his cheating ways a second time. I followed the rules. We should have had 2 tanks.
No.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Junk we had sitting
if we want
around.
to do the escape off properly, you know what we should really do? If you guys are both here, I'm putting you fully on the spot. We are live. We've got our audience. We got 330 people watching. Let's put it on the spot here. Let's do a full-on escape-off challenge. It doesn't have to be a monster tank. Let's give them a 10-gallon tank. We'll go to Petco and we'll buy them each a 10-gallon tank. And they'll put them on the kitchen counter and we'll do it simultaneously live, side by side. And what we're going to do is we're going to send an entire bunch of donations to them of random escaping materials. I don't care if you want to send them a SpongeBob ornament, a bubbling sea diver, a treasure chest, a piece of driftwood, spiderwood, rocks, plant. I don't care. Let's do this. Let's do this as a community. Let's start sending random stuff to Ohio Fish Rescue of random escaping materials. This might be 6 months in the making. And then once they've got enough stuff to go, we're basically going to film it and do it entirely live. They're going to have these buckets of random stuff set up. We'll do a lottery, and the lottery we'll draw cards or something like that, or we'll do a timer, and we'll have a couple of the guys there, the supporters there, and we'll draw a time and say, okay, Josh drew first card. Josh gets 10 seconds to go and pick his first escaping materials off everything he wants off the kitchen table. And then 10 seconds is nothing, right? Because you got to holy crap, what's happening, right? And then Big Rich gets 10 seconds to pull his stuff. And maybe we'll do that for, each guy gets 4 turns or 6 turns or whatever, and still you got enough stuff. And then you guys have to build escape of what you got. And then we're not judging based on Biggs really likes a natural biotope looking aquarium. That's true, I do. But let's base it on what it is. I love a nice naturally set up. Like somebody set up a really awesome kick butt SpongeBob tank and put the white gravel down for the pass between SpongeBob and Squidward's house, and and just add some effort to it. That would get points for me. And now let's just have some fun with it. Yeah, I'm not worried about the fish. If we're gonna talk escape off. You talk about the aquascaping world. They're not putting fish in most of these tanks anyways. These tanks are set up for a year to take a picture for 2 seconds and then torn down for next year. It's a competition. Let's set it up that way. You guys go head to head on whatever gets sent in. What does the audience think of that?
You guys can comment on that. What I would do, I would have a naturalistic river tank with a underwater sand waterfall and live plants everywhere, a whole ecosystem to where you don't ever have to change the water. It'll take care of itself. And then you got this cool feature of the underwater sandfall, because I know he don't know how to build it. I do it. I built them many times. And I don't care what he builds at this point. He ain't going to win.
I think he did already, though, did he not?
What's that?
I think he did already, though, did he not? So automatically, we've had
some lying rules and breaking rules.
No. We've only had one escape off, right?
The bubble wall of death ain't winning. Jack.
I did not use the bubble wall, and that's all there was to it. I could have.
Right, moving on. We got Miss Metalhead Prime for $5. She said, "Biggs, silver dollars with fantails? ? Was told no, but they get along fine. Should she separate? Hashtag Team OFR all day."
Well, they may get along very well, and that's fine. The only difference being is your silver dollars, most of your patinas are faster water, higher oxygen level characins from the Amazon, and they require higher temperatures, higher water temperatures. Your goldfish being colder water fish, actually, sorry, I was incorrect when I said the characins have higher oxygen. Your goldfish actually has much higher concentration of oxygen levels required. And do they work? They eat the same sort of similar type of diet, mostly roughage-based, vegetable-based, and stuff like that. And you might be able to get along with it. But honestly, you're kind of combating one evil versus another. You're keeping goldfish at an undeal in condition by keeping them indoors. Because goldfish are elevated, they need cooler water, they need higher oxygen levels and stuff. And so, that I remember back in the day, we used to say 1 inch of fish for every gallon for tropical fish, but goldfish was 1 inch of fish for every 3 to 4 gallons. And that's true, right? Like, it's just because they're called messy fish in a tank, but they're not. It's just because we keep them wrong. Would I keep them together? Will they work? They working for you? Okay, that's great. Am I asking you to change it? No, you're adapting to whatever it is. The goldfish aren't ideal and the silver dollars aren't ideal. I apologize. I don't mean to insult you in any way. It's not my intention. But if it's working for you, it's working for you. They eat the same diet, and if they're not aggressive and they're not hurting each other, leave it alone.
All right.
Good answer, Chris. Thank you.
Simple question here from Colin Doyle. Will a giraffe cat outgrow a 240? That depends. If it's a dwarf, no. If it's any other species, yes, they can get up to 3 foot. We've got
two of them that are 36 inches. Now, your 240 is usually a 2 foot footprint from front to back. You can use any tank that's maybe a 4 foot footprint, 8 foot long, and it's only a foot tall. Then the giraffe cat can live in there, yes, but bigger is always better.
The giraffe cat is a true rheophilic species, so it has very, very high oxygen requirements. So make sure that no matter what you have for tank size, it also has extreme turnover for oxygen.
So we have Patty for $5. She said a few bucks literally for Tracy and the fish.
Thank you, Patty. She's been a fan for a long time. She's been around. Thank you very much.
So we have a question about your isopods and what do isopods in the wild do during the winter?
They basically go fully dormant. The latest video that I just put out this past week was called Isopods in the Wild, and it was me and my youngest daughter, my 4-year-old Paisley, going out and sourcing isopods in the wild and setting up a culture. Because Arsenius asalis is the common species that's really readily available here. It's very easy. It's very obvious it's dimorphic. It's easy to tell apart from the other two species. And we literally put a sheet of, I don't know, it's about 3 feet by 4 feet, a little piece of random scrap plywood, and I laid it down on the gravel driveway, limestone gravel driveway on this little access area that we go. The only thing that went down there was the lawnmower, and that thing's been sitting there all summer, and that is our hotbed for collecting the species. That's where they are, because they're detrivores. They break down rotting wood and leaves and that sort of stuff, and that's where we've gotten them from.
All right, so we have a question from our own Adele Parkinson. She said, what is a project fish that you haven't owned but would like to, and what challenges would you expect from the species?
Well, if Adele knows me, and Adele knows me fairly well, and she's followed my channel, and I've done several live feeds in regards to breeding fish. For the people that don't know me, my interest is mostly science-based. I do not keep a lot of what I'd call pretty aquariums. I do not do a lot of aquascaping. I do a lot. My basis is entirely from the axis of acquiring a species, learning all the background of that species, understanding its habitats, and working on it. And I view that species as a puzzle. And my goal as aquarist is to take that species and put the pieces of the puzzles together to be able to make that species successfully replicate in an aquarium. And replicate by meaning breeding and stuff like that. But I don't want it to just breed and produce 6 fry. I want it to breed to whatever its massive fecundity would be. So I want to make sure that I be able to provide the environment that I can reproduce that species to what it could in its wild environment. But not only that, then I actually raise the offspring successfully. And that poses all sorts of different challenges depending on environment and water chemistry and whatnot. And behind the door behind me there in the laundry room, I have a 180-gallon reservoir that produces RO water, reverse osmosis water. And that water is chemically inert, and I can make basically whatever I want with that water. If I want hard water instant, I can make it. Soft water, if I want to reduce the chemistry, I can do whatever I want. So I've been very, very successful in breeding, I don't know, probably close to 1,000 species of fish and stuff, and working with what I want to do. Now, if I'm into rainbows, I can do hundreds of species of rainbows in a row. I can do hundreds of species of characins in a row. If I'm into cichlids, I can do 100. But it's very, very easy. But once you're working on it, I want to just work on target on one, then it's very challenging. Now, to answer the question specifically, like the things that I have what I call a positive list. And the positive list for me is species that I've worked with or haven't worked with or I haven't bred. I haven't, what I called, exactly like I mentioned, figured the pieces of how the puzzle goes together. And that would be the arowanas. Silver arowana, the leocardide arowana, or I can't even think of the name for the black arowana from South America. Doesn't get as big. It doesn't get as big. It's only about 20 inches instead of 30, 36 for the silver, or even the Formosus arowana from Asian, which you guys can't get in the States, the Druscaleophagous formosus, the Asian arowana gets all these fancy colors. But all of them are very primitive fish, and they're all mouth breeders. So they're all breedable in a smaller environment. And what I mean by smaller environment for a 36-inch fish is a 1,000 or a 2,000 gallon tank. These are all breedable fish. It's just understanding how they work in nature and how the physiology of the species work, and starting to put those pieces of the puzzles together to make it work for you. And those, like, to me, I've only worked with silvers before, but at the time when I was working with silvers, my life just wasn't in the right spot, and I had to kind of abandon what I was working on, and with the 1,000 gallon tank, and I just haven't gone back there. But those are the type of things that drive me every day.
Nice. And I beg to differ with you on the size of the black arrows, because we have had a black arrow over 30 inches.
Really? A black one?
Yeah.
I've never seen one over that big. But I've been to your place many times, and like I've seen fish in your place. Like I remember you guys had that African arowana. I've never
that blew your mind
one before until I saw one there.
I was so upset when Tracy killed him. Yeah. African arrows are labyrinth fish. They need to go up, get air from the top and down. And Tracy, God bless her, she was thinking the 1,000 gallon was a little dirty. Let's put more flow to it. The reason the flow was turned down to the 1,000 gallon was because we only have a certain size of overflow. So I matched the input to the overflow and left a 1/2 inch at the top. She opened this cable up and the water overflowed and went up and touched the top. Now our 2.5 foot African arrow was not able to get air and died. I came out there and I lost it. I was so upset. I loved this fish. It was my birthday present for my boy, and I grew him from 4 inches.
Nobody thinks of fish to be that weird. You know what I mean?
Right.
We think fish, they need water, right? That's just the way it is. But like, honestly, you had an African arowana, but it would be no different if you had a beta or a paradise fish and it was breeding. The first thing those babies need is they need to grab air. When they're born and they're free swimming, they need to grab air. And if like where I live in a northern climate where the air is insanely dry, I could breed betas and everything could be going perfect, and it's just looking good. All of a sudden those babies hatch and I'm like, I'm such a proud dad and everything's good. And then they go up to gulp that first air and it's too dry, and then they go to fill their air bladder and they die and they sink to the bottom.
Aww.
So all you got to do is, honestly, it sounds like a silly tip or trick, but like just cover your tank with saran wrap or whatever, plastic kitchen wrap. And they'll solve your problem, because it'll contain, because you got to think this fish lives in Cambodia, Vietnam, lives in these environments that are like full-on jungles, with 100% humidity. We don't have that in Cleveland. We don't have that in Canada. Like, we just don't have that in our fish room. But you live and learn. As long as we as aquarists are learning from our mistakes, not question why something didn't work out, and just go that extra mile and say, why didn't it work? Pose a question in these chats and try and find somebody that'll answer it. If somebody doesn't know, find somebody that does. There's lots of amazing, amazing people in these communities that'll help people.
That is 100% correct. So moving on, we have Their World Aquatics for $5. He said, "Happy Friday, Josh won."
You know what, Slow Joe? You can bite me, son. Love you, but come on.
Rich, I absolutely love you, man. I wasn't trying to come out there as real harsh and rag on your tank. That was never my intention.
Oh, you started a whole trend, Chris.
I really didn't expect it to snowball that way. Honestly, it's every single tank that's decorated, and I don't care if you decorate your kid's 10-gallon tank with your child, or you decorate your 300-gallon showpiece in your living room. It's all a matter of personal taste. Honestly, it is. And honestly, both Big Rich and Josh met the needs 100% of the species in question that were in their tanks.
By cheating.
No, but do we have to sit there and vote? Did we have a definite winner? Yeah, Josh won. Clearly we know that, right? But reality is both of those tanks are kick-ass tanks, and they met the needs of both the species that were involved. Rich used, and this might sound kind of silly, but Rich actually used a type of rock that actually is calciferous and actually adds buffering capacity to the water with a Tanganyikan species that needs a higher chemistry or a higher calciferous water. So Big Rich actually took that one extra step. But Josh also did the same thing by adding driftwood and stuff like that to a South American biotope, right? So both of them were winners in my rules. I know I'm backtracking, totally backtracking, because everyone's just totally probably just lambasting Rich in the chat, and that's not really what was my intention. I love you both.
So we have Rednecks Aquatics for $5. Said Biggs, I have a 220-gallon, heavily planted, highlight pumping CO2. What does Isopods do for my tank, and would you recommend them for that kind of angelfish?
No, there are native isopods that you're aquatic freshwater isopods that you can buy. You cannot buy them normally. Like, you can't go to any pet store and buy them. You'd have to find somebody that is either a teacher, a science teacher, or has access to some sort of science supply type place, and they use them for scientific models. Basically, it'd be the equivalent of adding adult brine shrimp to your aquarium with your angelfish. They're just going to eat them. There's no benefit to the whatsoever. If you didn't have angels, or honestly, if you didn't have any fish whatsoever in your tank, and you maybe had a couple of shrimp and a snail and added them, maybe they might be exciting. But honestly, I love isopods. I would gladly take that tank, the tank beside me. I don't care. If all of a sudden I got the call and said, hey, Biggs, I got a giant marine isopod. You want it? I would say yes. And any one of these tanks would be converted instantly to salt, just because I think it'd be fascinating. I have a guy locally who's a dear friend, Kyle, who has access to these freshwater ones, and they literally just look like a little bug in the water, and I don't care. They offer nothing other than maybe a live food source.
So there we go. Glad you got your...
Everybody likes what they like.
Who else is banned?
I have no idea. So we got Kathy Murphy for $1. She didn't say anything, and then she came back in for another $7. She said, sorry, the chat gods rule. I said tonight was very entertaining and fun. Well, I'm glad you're having fun, Kathy, and it was, we have some laughs from cracking on everyone. We got some knowledge in the chat, and we're having a good night. So, wait a minute. We got a comment from James Ward. He said, yo, what's up, guys? Josh, your tank kicks ass. Kind of love that.
I think Josh is a little biased. Hey, Rich, are you even watching the chat?
I'm reading the chat right here in front of me, yeah.
Josh
I'm
is
trying to ignore some messages because you started a whole new trend, son.
Josh seems to kind of point out all the ones that support him. He doesn't support ones that support Big Rich at all.
So
where's the people in the chat that are supporting Big Rich and saying Big Rich's tank kicks ass? Where's those people? Come on.
We got oh, my chat keeps jumping. I'm sorry, guys. So we got Jeff Beatty for $100. He said, do you guys still have the red Adabapo pikes? If so, could they survive in the new Scape winning bass tank? So definitely. I actually was going to move him yesterday because we got some new inhabitants at the rescue.
We got 2 red Adabapo pikes.
So I was going to add them to the bass tank, and I didn't do it yet, but I'm thinking that might be where they go. They're technically, from a little bit different region, but they could be suitable tank mates.
They'd be fine water chemistry wise. They'd be fine. Rio Adabapo is Venezuelan, bare drainage. They'd be no issue. The only thing is, are they eating pellets? That'd be the biggest concern, because you bring in a wild caught Adabapo pike and it's got to only be fed live. Then it's a pain in the butt.
Right.
Because that's going to make every one of your bass who you've now trained eating pellets saying, hey, what's this guy getting?
They eat everything.
I'm sorry, but that's Tracy's thing. I got to go. I'll be right back.
All right. So yeah, the bass get a little bit of pellets. They get shrimp. They get tilapia. They're basically my garbage cans.
Okay, well, Big Rich is out of the room right now, so we can do one of two things. We can do number one, where we could rag on Big Rich relentlessly until he comes back, or two, we could start showing support like I'm seeing here. I've seen a couple of comments here about I love Big Rich. Best of all, best of small is showing I love Big Rich's tank best. This is the chance to really show the love to Big Rich and the guy, the efforts that he puts forward. You guys know everybody loves you guys. Everybody knows both these guys put everything they got into this environment. So, let's show Big Rich some love while he's away. And when he comes back, he's going to be totally surprised. Come on, let's do it.
Well, you can see them all in the chat. Big Rich is the GOAT, blah, blah, blah. I'm
Big
saying
Rich
blah,
tank
blah,
too
blah
fast.
for
There
everyone
you go.
supporting me right now because we're showing love to my dad. We love Big Rich. To be fair, Rich is taking care of Tracy. That is a valid point.
Yep.
We got someone who said I like Big Rich's tank best. It was bright and pretty.
Well, that's
love
what he said,
Josh,
yeah.
but his looks like everyone else.
Well, yeah,
Fair
that,
enough.
and I remember at the very beginning, like I watched the very, very beginning when you guys were talking about that, what tanks you guys were going to do, and the tank size didn't really matter to me because I'd been there and knew what tanks you guys were talking about and stuff like that, and both tanks were pretty much kind of on par. They're different dimensions, but they're both kind of on par. But Big Rich kept mentioning about the fish, and the fish were the thing that were going to pull him forward, and I was like, this isn't a fish competition. This is a scape competition.
Right.
That was in my brain, and I know that me, my opinions, and every single person in the chat, their opinions are biased no matter whether they agree to it or not. They like what they like, like if my 4-year-old said, Dad, I want an aquarium, and she wanted to set it all up with neon plastic plants and those, what are those fish called that we can't even get in Canada? Those glowfish.
Yep.
We can start getting some of them now, but we can only get certain colors and whatever. And she wanted those. I'd be all over and go, that is the coolest thing ever. Look at that. It looks freaking awesome. And I'd put a black light on it, and I'd do all that stuff because I'm a dad, and I love that, and I want to encourage whatever it takes to make that happen. But honestly, every single person that's in this chat has their preferences of what they like and what they don't like. And that's cool. That's what's called being democratic. You like what you like, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, crap, he's back. Okay, nobody talk about Big Rich anymore.
If the rules were build what you like, we would have both built our favorite tanks. I did not get that chance because I followed the rules and used the
No,
stuff
we're not
we had
talking
laying
about
around.
that. What are you talking about? You've gone it completely. We don't know what you're talking about.
Josh, close that window. Where's that? Give me that mouse.
All right, so we got Rednecks Aquatics for $5. He said, "Thank you, Biggs. Now drink, 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 drink."
Oh, crap. I'll be back in a second. I go to the other room and get another beer.
I'll drink with you guys this unsweetened, terrible tasting tea, but it keeps my mouth wet.
All righty.
I do miss Tracy's sweet tea. That was so good before I was on a diet. It was so just, I miss that.
Dude, lots of love in the chat tonight. Big Rich is the man until the end of time, no question.
Aw, thank you. Who said that?
Michael Stevens. We got James Ward said,
maybe
"Old
people don't
Lion."
know. I know there's been a few people that kind of been upset with some of the comments I've made about Big Rich, but Big Rich and me have gone back for a while. And we're absolutely dear friends. We're doing this all out of love. We're loving, we're ribbing on each other all the time. It's just what we do.
Hey, when Chris gets my age, he just wishes he looks this good. Look at him. His beard and mustache already gray and white.
That's because I don't diet.
Hey, 56 years old. I don't die. Look at the gray, the orange, the brown, the dark brown, the tan. It's all coming out here. Look, I'm looking like that guy from who was that?
It's called Gorillas in the Mist is the word you're
Burl
looking for.
Lives. Singing the Christmas things. That looks like his mustache right there, coming out in front.
I honestly expect Jane Fonda to be sitting in your living room trying to court you right now with your mustache and that silver stripe you got going on in the beginning there.
If it wasn't for her political views, I wouldn't mind Jane Fonda. She's kind of hot still. She was
Not
fine
Jane
back in the
Fonda.
day.
Totally, Jane Fonda's the fitness one. Who's the one I'm thinking of? Who's Gorillas in the Mist? Who's the girl that goes and saves the
Oh,
gorillas?
stop it. Stop it. No, mute his thing right now.
Alrighty. Well, it seems like everyone in the chat is gone quiet on us. We've been on here for an hour and a half now.
We've accomplished nothing.
we had fun though.
We had a good time. And I had to go suction Tracy. She was coughing, so the machine, because of back pressure, went off. That like her airway wasn't, so it went off. I went out there, I suctioned her. She's fine, and I just got to do that, every 2 hours or so.
All right. So with that being said, I think we're gonna go ahead and sign off for the night. It has been a pleasure with all of you. We had some fun. Can't wait to do it again next Friday.
Big Rich looks like the Incredible Hulk mixed with Billy Ray Cyrus. You guys are the greatest.
Last but not least, we got Sue Ann Campbell for $2. Said, how do you feel about the gel balls in a beta tank? Chris?
Gel balls?
Gel balls in a beta tank. How do you feel about it?
I don't know what a gel ball is.
I didn't even know what that means.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Don't know.
You might be talking about the moss balls.
Horrible teabagging incident. I don't even know what this means. What do you mean? What are gel balls? What is that?
Could she be talking and referring to the moss balls?
Well, I'm wondering if she's talking about like encapsulated bacteria or something.
Could be.
What was her name?
Sue Ann Campbell.
Sue Ann, are you talking about where you can buy the prepackaged encapsulated bacteria?
Everyone else's. What are gel balls?
I honestly, I don't want to sound like a jerk. I honestly don't know what that means. Otherwise, like I don't think it'd be the Massimo balls and stuff.
Thank you, Mark
like
Edmond.
Big Rich is the double wall king. We love you.
Gel water balls?
Yeah,
I don't know. Everybody's asking the same thing. I don't know what that means.
Good night, guys. Big Rich, your tank was the winner.
Adele Parkinson for $3. She said, sending love to you all.
Thank you, Adele.
But
appreciate it.
we are going to go ahead and sign off for the night. So we love you guys. We will see you next week.
Love hanging out with you guys every Friday. Next week's going to be fun. Hopefully I can find somebody to watch Tracy where I can drink with you guys.
Nope, not allowed.
And as always...
Joe Dirt in the Hulk.
Wait, Chris, as always, stay fishy, my friends.
Thanks, guys. It was great.